the PS5 thing. I want to ask y'all this because I don't know. I just sent the video to in the chat, but I don't know if we really covered this about um our black women being in front of the front lines of the protest. Have we ever like really covered that?
Not really.
Yeah, we never really talked in detail about that. We acknowledged it, but we didn't talk about it in detail.
Okay, good because it was one of the videos that was saying like how and it's this black woman and a lot of black women have been feeling like this. It's just like they do not like seeing black women being in the front line of these protests and these marches. And there's I've like talked to a couple women. Some of them feel that way, and a lot of people, a lot of other women feel like they could be in the front lines, whoever they want, and all that other stuff. So I want to ask you, fellas, like, um, how do y'all feel about the black women being in front lines of these protests?
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, I was about to say, Fada, you want to start?
Okay. So I think that as men, we should be the first line of defense. And as men, we should take more initiative in protecting our women and children. Just like, I don't know. I'm really like Nation of Islam with it. Like, we are the first line of defense. Nobody should be touching our women and our children, and we defend them to death. There was a speech where Minister Louis Farrakhan literally said, if you touch our women, we will literally kill you. And I think that's the type of energy that we need to have.
Agreed.
However, when it comes to defense, women are very capable of defending themselves too. So, and we've seen that many times. But what I think the disconnect is that black women are always have to put themselves in a position to defend themselves because they face the threat. Because they don't just face threats from white supremacy; they also face threats from black men, and that has not been a secret. That's always been the case when it comes to black women. When they're relaying their experiences, they always talk about how I have to deal with white supremacy. I also have to deal with women, and then I also have to deal with black men because like that's just their experience. That's what they've always had to deal with. And we've covered stories where black men have killed black women, and we've seen videos of black men that have harassed black women and shit. And yeah, when it comes to incidents like the thing that happened with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and shit, you always see the sisters always pull up. The sisters always down. The sisters always putting in work. Black Lives Matter was founded by black women. What's it called? The Me Too movement was founded by a black woman. Even though despite if you may agree with those like organizations and what they do and shit, you can't deny that black women always pull up and black women always put in work. I've been saying for like the past couple of weeks that after all of this is said and done, I don't want to hear anybody slander black women because they're the ones that put in the most work out of anybody consistently on this earth, period, point blank. And we really need to, get behind that because black women really do pull up. Like they're not capping, when they have these, when they're saying this type of shit, they really do pull up. So when it comes to them, they feel like the same energy isn't applied because they go hard. They always apply that energy towards everything they do. But when it comes to them, all of a sudden you got niggas that are scary. All of a sudden, you got niggas that are not pulling up. You got niggas that are not about that life, and they're usually the loudest ones. So, and there's not enough effort on the black men's side that to check that kind of behavior. And it's one of those too many, not enough. There's too many black men that's not stepping up and not enough black men stepping up. So black women do acknowledge the ones that do step up. Black women acknowledge the warriors out there. It's just there's not a lot of us, honestly. There's not too many of us. Nigga, you got those, and I mean no disrespect, but I'm trying to make an example here. You got those ASAP Rocky type niggas that like, oh nigga, that's not my fight. I'm only worried about myself. You know, you got those type of niggas running around, and then and you know they loud with it too. So what we have to do is we just gotta make sure that these women out here understand that they're not alone. First and foremost, and we gotta be loud about that shit. We gotta pull up and be about that, and really make them understand that, like, bruh, y'all not alone. We got you. And you know, the men that ain't got it, the men that ain't about that life, the men that are scary when it come to putting in work, we gotta find a way to purge them, or we gotta find a way to, you know, at least make them understand that that's not the energy that we on. So we just gotta shift the paradigm.
Hmm.
Dion, you want to go?
All right. So the way I'm processing this is this. Now, Father, you brought up how Nation of Islam is keen on when it comes to protecting our women. While I'm not necessarily a fan of the Nation of Islam, which that's a whole other conversation for a whole other day and time.
Right.
I do agree with that point of protecting our women. They're the main ones out there, projecting this message, not just for themselves, but for all of us, men, women, and children alike of the black community. So if they're the ones who are stepping up to present this message, let them do that. However, we need to be right there by their side. The moment someone does or says something out of line, we as black men need to be right there to correct that ass.
That it, Dion?
Yeah.
Tony, you have anything to say?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. Here's how I always picture this. Y'all, everything Father said was right. About the Nation of Islam is like protecting our black women, and black women always pulling up, and like they deserve our protection. My and this is I'm want to be fair when I say this, and y'all can say this. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. This is I don't think a lot of black men think protesters and marches work, and that's why you don't see a lot of black men out there, because there's been times where recent black men's death that protest. They've been out there protesting. You'll protest for like a day or two, and then everything just goes back to normal. This is probably one of the few times where I've seen a protest. They're still protesting to this day, and shit gets getting done. So, and usually people that you're right. The usually people that are out there are um, black women, and but for the longest that we done seen them out there, we done said these boycotts and these boycotts and
Protest.
protests are not working. Even you done said that, like Father, you done said that a lot of people you ain't got the smoke for today for boycotting shit like they did back in the civil rights movement. My thing is, back in the civil rights movement, I think you understand that like laws needed to be changed, and like it's a thing for black men and black women out there. That's why it was important for Martin Luther King to go out there, and it was important for Malcolm X, to go out there and speak on the injustices that's on the black community. The thing is, with black women out there, I don't think black men are forcing women out there either. It's not that we're not forcing women out there. And I think even if because I said this all the time. I love that our women are out there. I don't want them out there because they're because like especially with the police, we know how like the riots happened back then in the '60s, and we seeing what they doing now. They shooting people with rubber bullets, the cops, not the National Guard. Just to make sure I know, they're out there shooting rubber bullets at people. They're over there pushing people down. They're over there. They're just the riot people not giving a fuck. So you don't want to see your people out there, but at the same time, I don't think like I feel like if you tell them black women don't go out there, a lot of them are gonna look at you like you don't tell me what the fuck to do. It's like if you feel like you need to be out on there on the front lines, who am I to stop you? Like when you saw Kiki Palmer going over there and like talking to the National Guard, you think anybody's gonna be like, "Hey, don't do that"? I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna do that. And then if you really even try to do that, so I'm gonna tell you like she could do what the fuck she want to do. She out here. Like I 100% appreciate the black women out there marching and all that other stuff. But and like even me that I said I don't want to see a black women out there because I don't want them to get hurt. That's just me out there getting hurt. Who am I? But again, who am I to tell them to not go out there in the front lines if they want to be out there? And this is it's funny because this is why I think like this is even though there's a bunch of black men talking about this, I feel like women need to discuss this with women because I like even because I think this goes along with the black femininity, and I've always said like, in my opinion, when it comes to masculinity and masculinity and femininity, I think us black our version of masculinity as black people, our version of masculinity and femininity are different from other races, especially when it comes to femininity. Because like when like you can see it in history, some of these white women like, and I've always said this. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong too. A lot of if you look at the white women in history, a lot of their like they seem kind of useless because especially in American culture, because a lot of them was just in the house where the black women they was out there working in the field with us. They also had jobs. They were also the cooks. They were also there. The white women was there just to give babies and all that other stuff and be there. Like you even see it in the tropes. Is like you don't really see black women being the damsels in distress. They're being like the strong black women moniker, and I know some of the women hate that, but I also think it's a positive for y'all because y'all don't take shit. Y'all spring into action, and it's a warrior thing. I know some women like want to be like the. I don't want to say want to be, but I think they kind of like fantasize being that damsel in distress that white women is. But to me, and this is a personal thing, I've always hated that damsel in distress thing because you're useless. To
You're
me,
not
it's
the
just,
only
and to
one.
me, it's just yeah. To me, it's just like the whole damsel in distress. To me, it just got to saying that basically you're useless. You see the black like even in like Scary Movie, Regina King was never. Oh no, Regina Hall, excuse me. Like even in Scary Movie, she was never the damsel in distress. She was like, "What the fuck is these white people?" Like when Cindy fell, and she's like, "Why is this white bitch keep falling?" Like, no, she was like cheering. I was like, "Get that white bitch!" But she was not. But you can tell she was never the damsel in distress. Our women in the history has never been a damsel in distress. It's like it. So that's why I've always said when it comes to masculinity and femininity, like maybe males did some shit like we have similar with other races, but you know, I've always said our masculinity and femininity has been different from other races, and like what you kind of asking for, you never really had, in my opinion, because you know because like you're used to handling shit, and that's mostly like how I feel about this. If you think that you're not want to be in the front lines and black men be in the front lines, one, I feel like there's gonna be more black men out there because now you're seeing these protests working and shit getting this done. But at the same time, black men are doing stuff. It's just not being. It's just like you see Jay-Z handling shit in the background. There's a lot of other people handling shit in the background. Um, you're hearing a lot of those, but you know, there's a lot, huh?
Shout out to John Boyega.
Yeah, shout out to John Boyega. You see John Boyega out there, and he's telling we need to protect our black women. Like you're seeing a lot of these people coming up, and you know, putting the word out and all that other stuff. But like I said, if we go to the city halls and all that other shit, I feel like that's where like you'll see most of the other black men show up, and you see it. And that's really most of I gotta say about that. What y'all think?
Well, let me add something to that. See, what's